friends and foes? Welcome to Let's Get Nerdy. My name is Corey.
I'm Wyatt. It's another episode of Go-Go-Godzilla, the series where we go through every movie in the Godzilla franchise to decide which one of them truly is king of them all. Today's a pretty good contender. This is Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, giant monsters, all-out attack.
The greatest name of a movie ever.
That's the longest fucking name, but it's great.
And as always, we're going to start out with our personal histories for the movie, which, Wyatt, I'm going to go ahead and take the reins on this one because I believe yours is none.
None, so we can just knock mine out real fast. Nothing. Nada.
Like, you hadn't even heard of anything about this movie?
I mean, like, I had heard of it and maybe seen, like a 3-second, I don't know, maybe a small clip online, but that's it. So, okay, I'm sorry. I knew there was a Godzilla that had all white eyes. Okay. But I had no idea what it was from, but that's all I got, so.
So this one is a movie that I have a lot of interesting, like, I can't necessarily say, no, okay, I will say, it runs deep. Like I've said about a lot of other movies, this history runs deep. I've mentioned before when I was a kid, a local theater did like a Godzilla marathon, where 3 nights in a row they played. The first night it was the original 1954. The second night it was the Smog Monster, and the third night it was actually this. It was Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah. Everything is attacking us.
Yeah.
And I think so. I believe, I could be wrong, there's no way I can prove it, there's also really no way I can disprove it. I think that might have been one of the American premieres, not the premiere, but one of the first times it was shown in America.
Yeah.
Which was really cool, because at the time, that's during a period of time, because it was definitely early 2000s period of time where Godzilla movies were not shown here at theaters, statewide, so that's a really cool thing about independent theaters. That was Liberty Hall in Lawrence. Big shout out there. And so it was really cool because I got to see it in theaters.
Right.
And it was fucking awesome. I had a great time with it as a kid, so I loved it. I loved it for the most part.
Yeah.
I ended up hating the ending because Godzilla, spoiler alert, Godzilla dies, and I hated the ones where Godzilla dies.
Yeah.
But I had a great time with it, and then I had not seen it at all until I watched it again as an adult after -1 when I started watching other Godzilla movies again.
Okay.
And so I'd seen it in the last year and went, oh fuck yeah, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And this movie is part of why I wanted to start this, because I was like, I want to talk about this movie.
Yeah.
So very, very big one in my history because I got to see it in the theater. But this is literally my third time seeing it.
Damn. Okay.
But it's very important because I saw it in the theater, and that was really awesome. And that memory is very nostalgic because I got to go with my dad. That's my history.
Nice.
With that, Wyatt, I believe moving right along, you got 5 facts for us?
Yeah.
Ones or?
I feel like with each video they get longer and longer, so I don't know if the quick facts
each
is
video.
Yeah, you're right. So we'll go ahead and start these 5 not so quick facts. They have a new director this time around. I am so sorry before I even try and say this guy's name. I don't even know how to start with this one.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, try. Go ahead. You try and read this one. I think I can.
Michael Bay.
Yeah.
No,
English is hard.
Shusuke Kaneko.
Okay, yeah.
K-A-N-E-K-O. So, yeah, Kaneko, I believe that is.
Kaneko? Yeah, whatever you said.
Yeah, there you go.
So, that's our new director. Yes.
New director, first Godzilla movie, but not his first big monster or kaiju movie.
That's one of my facts.
That's one of your facts? Oh, yeah. You go ahead with it.
That's number 4.
Okay.
No, that's number... Yeah, anyway, we'll get there. It's in the list. It is number 4.
30 minutes, we'll get to there.
Yeah, an hour later. So this is the second time in the Godzilla franchise that a movie has served as a direct sequel to 1954's Godzilla. So this is our second direct sequel to that, our second soft reboot in this era of Godzilla movies. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
kind of like the last couple we've done. This one was released for the Japanese Film Festival, and on November 3rd of 2000, but was released just to public theaters in Japan on December 15th of 2001. So, that's kind of cool that they've been releasing them. Like, they had released these previous few movies like to a film festival first.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. Our director had some different ideas for this movie.
Okay.
He wanted his initial idea for the villain, the antagonist for Godzilla in this movie was a revamped Kamikaris, or the giant spider monster from the old movies.
Oh!
Yeah, because it was one of his son's favorite monsters, so...
That's cool.
Yeah, they decided not to go that route because A, they wanted Godzilla to fight 3 monsters, but also B, because he had just fought Mechagodzilla, who was a insect or
a lot of bug action.
So they moved away from the singular monster for Godzilla to fight, moved to 3. The original 3 monsters were Varan, Baragon, and Anguirus, though.
Who's the first one?
Varan was very... What the hell was that?
Was that the animals? Was that the creature in Destroy All Monsters? That was not a rat. That was like.
That's what I kept thinking. Did I just see a mouse skull?
It was a little ball that.
Okay, we're good. We're good.
But was Varan the little
Yeah, that guy. He was in Destroy All Monsters, and he floated down.
I'm gonna include a picture somewhere in here so people know what we're talking about.
But then prior to that, he was, I think, in the 30s, was in a very early monster movie.
Okay.
So they wanted to bring him back, Baragon, and then Anguirus. So of course, Baragon's the only one on that list that made it into the movie.
It's also like 3 of the same guy.
Basically, yeah, yeah. But Toho wanted, to replace Varan and Anguirus with more publicly known and popular monsters, being Mothra. Yeah, exactly. So that's why they went with King Ghidorah and Mothra. And for some reason decided to leave Baragon in.
Leave Baragon in?
Yeah.
Which I think was a good... I like that they chose Baragon over the obvious choice of Anguirus.
Yeah.
Just because I could go forever without hearing Anguirus roar again.
Yeah, that's fair.
But...
we got one more.
One more fact.
Wait, no, we got 2 more.
We got 2 more.
So, number 4, the one that you had kind of started to bring up.
Yeah.
Kaneko, still not totally sure on how to say his name properly, had impressed some of the higher-ups at Toho prior with his Gamera trilogy in the 90s, and then they decided that, okay, this guy should get a Godzilla movie. They approached him about it, and here we have it. So I want to watch this Gamera trilogy now to see, because it was apparently very critically acclaimed.
Yeah, it's from everything I've heard, it's a very good trilogy.
I want to check it out.
But I would rather... No, I'm joking. I don't even know where I was going to go with that. I'd be interested in checking it out. I've actually never watched any Gamera movie.
Me either.
Just because, I chose the superior.
Obviously.
The better of the 2.
That's some giant fucking turtle.
Yes. Yeah.
So one last little quick fact. They had another idea, a pitched idea for an enemy for Godzilla to fight in this movie, which I, on one hand, think is very interesting and original, but also very fucking weird and wouldn't have worked. This idea, which was shot down very fast, was for Godzilla to fight an astronaut that had absorbed cosmic rays and turned it into a monster. So basically, he would have fought the Fantastic Four. An amalgamation.
That's interesting.
Yeah, not a great idea.
That's
interesting, but
interesting, not a great idea.
I can I see why it was shot down by the higher ups. They were like I said, that's kind of an original idea for a Godzilla monster, but not a great one.
Yeah, I'm glad we went with what we got.
Yeah.
I forgot where I was going. I thought I had something, but I don't. Well, actually, no. I do. My fact. I have a 6th fact.
Oh shit!
This shirt I'm wearing. I don't know how much you can see it, but it's actually based off of this movie. It's from a company called Cavity Colors. They do a lot of really good Godzilla themed shirts. I think they do other horror movie stuff too.
Oh.
But I just have them for this one, the Godzilla shirt.
That's a dope shirt.
It's a really cool shirt. It's based off this movie specifically. And the other thing is this shirt and this hat is what I wore in our first episode of Go-Go-Godzilla, where we covered Godzilla X Kong the New Empire.
No, go ahead. I'll go ahead.
I'm now going to take off this hat because I told Wyatt I left it in my car during a heat wave and it has since shrunk, so that hurts to wear. I just figured it would be a cool symbol because we're almost coming up on a year of doing this, by the way.
That's crazy.
So yeah. Anyways.
But no, I understand. I think all of my Vans hats are really fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, Vans, great shoes, terrible hats.
I love the shoes. Yeah, the hats, they just never fit good.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
At least the ones that I have. What was I gonna say? I forgot now.
I don't know.
Fuck, we got off talking about hats and shoes, and now I'm all lost.
Anyways, welcome back to Van Go Van. No.
Van Go Van.
Van Go Van.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Holy fuck, we are all over the place today. This movie, I guess like the abbreviation for it is GMK.
GMK.
Which is kind of interesting. You're wearing those clothes from the first video, which is GXK.
GMK. It's gonna be a bitch when we read the rankings.
It's almost come full circle, but it's like a fucked up rhombus. We're not quite at the circle yet.
Well, it's like Godzilla, because I feel like anytime they do the Godzilla like anniversaries, it's never quite right on time. Right, because -1 came out at during the 69th year.
Yeah.
Destroy It came out in the 95, so that would be 41.
Sure. Yeah.
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 That's right. That time, the math's right there.
The time is right. Yeah.
But so I just find that funny. Of like, and I think Final Wars, spoiler, Final Wars is like 05 too, right? Or was that 2000?
I thought it was 04, but I could be wrong.
We'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah.
We got a couple movies, so I haven't even heard of that movie. Anyways, now comes the time where we actually talk about our thoughts and feelings about the movie. Kind of pick out some specific characters and scenes we enjoyed. Well, I'll let you kick it off since this was your first time ever watching this movie. What did you think about Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, giant all-out monster attack? That's not right.
It's close enough.
Giant monster all-out attack.
It was like 96% there.
That was 96, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so upon my first viewing, I was really excited. Well, first of all day. Like, I've been waiting to watch this movie all day. Kind of carried me through work a little bit.
That's good.
The movie started. I wasn't so sure about it because it didn't start bad, but like
it starts slow.
It starts very slow.
Although it starts with a dig, and then Godzilla.
Dude, that's so good. That was so good.
And there's a debriefing where they're talking about, I guess like signs of like monster attacks.
Yeah.
And they mentioned something happening in New York,
and
people are whispering of like they think it's Godzilla, but experts have proven it wrong.
Yeah.
Which is a great little little dig there.
That was great. No, there was some cool shot of like the submarine footage of like Godzilla's spines kind of lining up like through or past some like mountains, I guess if you will, like under the sea. That was cool. They did some good foreshadowing and stuff. But as far as like the human plot goes, like I wasn't really that engaged with it. Mm-hmm. And then they started. I don't know. I'm jumping kind of ahead here, but then there was just fucking hooligans all over this fucking island. Yeah. Or a portion of Japan, I guess, rather. A portion of Japan where they're at.
Yeah.
Just fucking, like, they tried to be the Fast and the Furious and fucking rode around on little, like, motorcycles and harass, like, a 18-wheeler.
And the nicest motorcycle gang of all time, where all they do is they just circle the car, tap on and go, ha-ha, and then spit on people and drive away.
Yeah, they're just honking their horns and shit, and like they're just the weirdest group of
Sons of Anarchy, these are not.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But, so there's these guys, the little weird motorcycle gang, that got squashed eventually, but we can circle back to that in a second. But then the other band of fucking hooligans, like, broke into this little shop, you know, and we're stealing all the chips and snacks and shit and having a party on the lake shore. And did
they break in or were they just staying there?
Oh no, they broke in.
Oh.
Yeah, they busted through the window and were just like raking shit off in like a bag.
Oh, I was thinking of different.
Yeah, not the motorcycle guys, but different people. And they just for some reason, one guy they're all assholes, but one guy in particular was like, "Oh, that damn dog. there's a dog barking that for some reason was chained up outside by itself. And then, like, these fucking people just start shitting on this dog. And then, like, he's like, I'll get rid of the dog. Takes the dog, puts the dog in a box, takes a statue, and is, like, pushing the statue down on the dog, and you hear the dog, like, squealing and shit in this box. And then puts a lid on the box, and they just go out in the ocean, or this little lake waterway, whatever the fuck it is. But they're gonna throw the fucking dog out in the water in this crate. And then Mothra shows up.
So we get the reveal of Mothra.
Mothra which was great.
There's a fake out.
It is. It is.
They don't show you until like the news clips that the dog made it out. So you think Mothra just killed a bunch of people
and a dog.
But
the dog's fine.
The dog's fine.
All is well.
Yeah.
But the hooligans,
the assholes, are dead.
Yes.
I can't fucking believe that. Like,
that they're dead?
Well, no, that's fine. But like they were gonna just drown a dog because it was just barking. Like
that's what hooligans do. Why? See, when you're a big city kid. You've never lived in a small town. When you're in a
wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. I think you have that backwards.
This is just small town, good old country boy activities.
Oh, that must be why we don't get along.
Yeah, being not a country boy, I've never done that personally, but I know some people.
Yeah. Country folk.
I don't know where I'm going with any of this.
I don't either.
Okay, getting back to the plot. So the plot largely revolves around Yuri Tachibana.
Tachibana.
Yeah. I'm glad I remember that. Who is a reporter for a kind of a weird, I guess, sci-fi B-movie production company.
Yeah.
But she wants to be an actual news reporter.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. Her dad's disappointed in her because he thinks she has a crappy job. That's every dad, though.
It's like this like the Sci-Fi Channel or like Travel Channel at night when they're like they do all like the ghosty shit type shows and stuff,
Yeah. So pretty much they're investigating fake paranormal activities or monster activities. It turns out to trigger real ones.
Yeah. Pretty interesting how that worked out.
And then also her dad happens to be the head of like the Japanese Defense Force. And he's trying to figure out these monsters. I think they think Godzilla's coming back because they've seen Godzilla and have video of it. But some people are, from what I gather, not so convinced.
Not so convinced, and then they're also getting Baragon barreling through the tunnel and Mothra killing the hooligans.
Yes.
So that there's other monster sightings that they're attributing to being Godzilla that aren't really Godzilla.
Which the Baragon scene I little tease I thought was cool because you did get the Godzilla tease at the beginning and then you get this Baragon tease as he the hooligans that we're talking about again they cut off a trucker and then they drive off into a tunnel and they think it's an earthquake so they stop and they're waiting for it to subside and then the earthquake barrels through them and kills them all.
There you go.
Which that's first one starting to get into the compliments of this movie because spoiler, I fucking love this movie. It's so good. Is the showing of perspective, and we're going to get into this more. I'm sure we're probably just going to end up jumping ahead. Is every monster attack or event is very much shown from the perspective of a human.
Mm-hmm.
It's not this nebulous camera that's floating around and showing the whole landscape, which isn't a bad thing, obviously, because we love the Godzilla movies that do that. But this one, there's this added sense of kind of tension and scope and scale. We have not used that word in a while.
Been a minute.
Sense of scale as you're seeing the full scale of these monsters, and then this one in particular, you see Baragon going through barreling through the tunnel, but you just see a glimpse of him for a real quick second.
Yeah. And I mean, Mothra doesn't. You don't get they don't do a fake out as much because you can tell it's Mothra pretty easily.
Yeah. Well, and I think correct me if I'm wrong. I think by the time we get the Mothra reveal, do we already have the Baragon and Godzilla fighting?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
That's not happened yet. Well, yeah, and that one, but that one even was Mothra was shrouded in darkness, so you never see the full larva state of Mothra.
No, you kind of just get like the face of it, and like when she's coming up out of the water, I mean, it looks like that Godzilla, like, you know, he's coming up to the shore or whatever, and the water rises. So it looks like that, but once it breaks the sort of surface of the water, I mean, you can tell it's Mothra. But
yeah. So with that, to kind of set the scope here, so the good guys in this movie. So let's just talk about the monsters for a second here.
Okay.
So we have Baragon and Mothra and King Ghidorah, who, in a nice change of pace, is one of the good guys this time.
That was pretty cool.
Which is a very interesting take on Ghidorah.
Yeah.
These three are the Guardians of the Earth, and as the movie puts it, like, they're literally the Guardians of the Earth. They don't give a fuck about the people or the society or, like, Japan. They care about the actual physical Earth.
Yeah.
Godzilla, in a really cool kind of way, is the manifestation of, like, the souls, like the angry souls that died during the
Pacific
conflict. And they name not just the victims of the nuclear bombs that were dropped, but the other Japanese who died in the war and the Americans who were killed in the war too, like the victims of the Pacific conflict. Yeah. And like it's literally like the way they explain it, like the angriness and the like bitterness. Is that the word you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think just like the anger, anger, despair, you know, all the negative emotions of all these people that died during the war and the conflict and the bombings and stuff. I mean, they're all just kind of like their souls
manifested into an actual fucking monster.
Yeah, essentially, and like it shows because this is an angry ass Godzilla.
Yes, this is not.
Holy shit!
In almost every other Godzilla movie, including kind of the original, they're like, no, you know, Godzilla's not an angry thing. Like, he doesn't fully understand, or like he's got this. Like, they always like position of like, no, like he's bad, he's kind of evil, but he's still kind of good. This is a Godzilla that is outright like just evil.
Yeah. Well, and like there's like he's kind of good, but there's also like he's just an animal that's scared and doesn't know what's going on, and he has these mutations and shit. Yeah. This one, he's totally just. He's anger and
he's here to destroy.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, this is one of the Godzilla movies where like when he's on screen, I mean, yeah, it's really fucking cool, but also like
it's also terrifying.
It's terrifying, and like you feel the dread of the people on screen. I mean, in a few scenes, specifically like the hospital scene.
Well, before we get to the hospital scene, I think the first actual like on land appearance of Godzilla is just his foot. But like, there's these people. I think it's saying like kind of a hostel or her hotel area. Yeah, they're like having a good time playing, and then it starts shaking. Yeah. And like one of the guys puts it together like, hey, this is not just a earthquake. This isn't an earthquake. And then you see like this lady in the kitchen freaking out, and like everything dropping, and then you just see from the outside the whole thing gets stomped on by Godzilla. Yeah. And then it turns out like one of the ladies survives. Right, that's like the thing. Yeah. I think it was the lady in the kitchen, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Excuse me. The lady in the kitchen survives, gets taken to the hospital, only to be there for when Godzilla.
Oh my God.
Godzilla's first full-on attack, and this scene, like the way they zoom in on her and like they focus in on her, it's so intense and like it's always like me and you weren't talking.
No, it's such a good scene because like you get all of her fear and like just like the way her face like kind of she doesn't know how to react. Yeah. She's not screaming outright, but it's like you can see like terror and like dread in her face. Like and
then she does start screaming.
She does. But at first it's kind of like just like a breathless like I don't know like how do I react to this because. Her leg is, you know, it's in the cast, and she's in the bed, can't move. There's no one to help her, no nurses, and you can see from her window, Godzilla is, you know, he's coming closer and closer and closer to the hospital, and then it just passes, you know. So it's like, okay, we can breathe, and then his fucking tail, dude,
comes through, and then like
levels the building.
But like. For 90% of that shot, I would say 95% of the shot, you only get the perspective of the tail coming in from her point of view. It only like it's literally they go like the Halloween route of, you know, they show you right up to the kill, and then they cut away.
Yeah.
So then, like, your brain pictures something much worse. Or,
Right.
like, you're,
Right.
Yeah.
They did that scene is.
That scene is like, and
that's really good.
That's kind of almost every time Godzilla shows up. Of like, even when he's fighting the bigger monsters.
Yeah.
A lot of it is still like from the perspective of humans. Like, if they need an aerial shot, they will have a helicopter or they'll have somebody high up in a skyscraper.
Yeah.
To like be a fixture in the scene. And it just goes so much more to, like, I don't know, it helps build the fight so much more.
It does, and you made a point, Darren, while we were watching it, that, like, I think, and I mean, I agree with you, like, this is probably one of the best ones so far that we've had where, like, they've used the mixed media, and, it flows well and works together well.
Yeah.
Like, well, you know, like, just animation and, like, practical stuff and so on and so forth, but, like, it all blends well together, and I mean, that's a good point about how, like, if they need to have, like, an aerial shot, there is something to you know base the shot from. It's not just like a random camera like you mentioned earlier. So
and they get it, 'cause, like, it makes it sound like I don't like it when they do that. It's just I feel like the effect it does have when they take that extra step just really adds to the world that they're building with this movie.
Yeah, it just feels more natural, and like there's just a lot of really good camera work with this movie too.
So speaking of camera work and like kind of the direction is like getting to the first fight with Baragon.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about this fight?
So there's like, you know, the classic like the monsters are kind of marching towards each other type thing. There's a little bit of build up and tension with that in itself, but then like it looks like they meet at like a park or like some kind of a national or like a national forest or something like that where there's like a
I'm sorry, actually, Wyatt, before we even get to the fight, we didn't even really talk about the rampage. So
we didn't.
So when we're talking about the Godzilla attacking the lady in the hospital, it's in the midst of his first rampage, and this is one of the best rampages, like, I think, ever.
Yeah.
In the Godzilla series, because again, it's primarily focusing. It's not always focusing on what Godzilla is doing. It's focusing on the people like running away, and like there's this really like just classic like horror movie feeling to it as they're like looking and like they're screaming in terror. And at one point, like, there's this one particular lady who like stops and screams, like is continually like almost like a Sam Raimi shot. And Godzilla decides to hear this.
Oh, I
and what does he do, Wyatt?
Oh my god, he's like walking away, and then he like picks up all the screaming, and then just stops and turns, and atomic breath.
Yes.
And then like, but it does the thing like with the hospital scene where like it cuts away before like you see her just like it being eviscerated, and then it cuts to like a scene of like kids in a school in a classroom, and like the teacher's like, okay, we gotta pack up and go or whatever, and then just flash of like white light. For me, like you see it reflect on the kids, like you don't see the light come through the windows, but then they turn and there's just like a mushroom cloud like way off in the distance where he's at and is blowing stuff up.
It's
damn
so sick. Oh, like genuinely, like it's sick.
Yeah, it is. But he just eviscerates people like, and they don't shy away from it, which is. I don't want to say like, I don't think refreshing is the right word, but it's like it's cool to see Godzilla being used as like a
menace,
a villain monster menace, whatever, however you want to phrase it, And like he really is, like he stomps on people, he just blows people up, he kills people with his tail, like, and like I mean, I guess we could get to the Baragon fight, because at one point doesn't he throw Baragon on like a group of people in the parking lot trying to get away?
Yeah, that's so. Yeah, the Baragon fight is. Fucking awesome. Is one of my favorite fights in the Godzilla series. Just because it is literally like it's like 20. It's a long fight.
It's a long fight,
and it's 20 minutes of Godzilla just kind of beating Baragon's ass.
Yeah.
Pillar to post. Like I think there is one particular scene. Like it starts off with like Baragon launching at Godzilla and like biting into his arm.
He tried.
And then it cuts to Yuri, right? Yeah, it cuts to Yuri, and she goes, all right, Baragon's our guardian, he'll protect us.
Yeah.
As Godzilla like takes him,
And
smashes him into a literally suplexes him through the table pretty much.
This scene felt like in WWE when like one of the small guys tries to take on like one of the biggest people, like Big Show or Undertaker or whoever. Like,
it feels like one of the smaller guys, but not Rey Mysterio, like not somebody who knows how to do it. Like it's a guy who's like, oh shit, I'm too small for this. It's
like one of those intermediary, like between like the start of the match, like the start of the show and the end of the show, like one of those really quick just to keep the crowd warmed up matches. Yeah. Oh, my lights are flickering. What the fuck? I hope we're not about to lose power.
I think Godzilla's coming.
Oh no! But yeah, no, because like he just like flings his ass and launches him, and he launches him several times and launches him. Well, I guess like we didn't even talk about how like when they're getting ready to fight, like Godzilla just punches his way and rips his way through a mountain to get to him.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that because there's yes.
He has no chill, dude. Like, sees his ass and he just like literally tears a mountain apart to get to Baragon, like.
Which, you know, we've talked a lot about how much we love the entrances and like Godzilla coming out of Mount Fuji, and all that. This is up there with that of like, especially because the way it starts.
It comes out of the ocean, and you talking about?
No, because it starts as a comedic scene of this Baragon in the background and a group of tourists like trying to take pictures, and as they're like, all right, hurry up, take a picture, and we'll get out of here. The lady, like the wife, like stops and looks up and sees Godzilla. Yeah. And Godzilla looks down on them and then shoves the rocks onto them.
He's a menace, dude.
And then breaks through the mountain.
And then proceeds to whoop Baragon's ass.
Yes.
And it's great.
This is in terms of professional wrestling, because like the breaking the mountain, that's Stone Cold. The breaking. And Baragon is. Do you know Gilbert? Gilbert. Okay, so back in the Attitude Era when WCW had Goldberg, they, to make fun of him, the WWF had Gilbert, and he was this like weird little guy who would come out and like looked like Goldberg, but instead of being like jacked and huge, he'd come out and like he was like this wiry like meth looking dude, and he would never win a match. So he'd be the opposite of Goldberg. Yeah. That's what this was. This is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Goldberg. No, Gilbert. Gilbert.
Yeah.
And he just gets his ass kicked. There's one point where Baragon is trying to get away and is trying to crawl away. Yeah. And Godzilla just starts stomping him into the side of a mountain.
Yeah. He just kicks the shit out of him.
Yes.
And then, like, he kicks the shit out of him, stomps him into the mountain, pushes his head down, and then he starts hitting him with his tail, like, just repeatedly, just, like, smacking the shit out of him, and then somehow he's turned around long enough for Baragon to climb up the rock wall and get away. And it's like, okay, Baragon's gonna get away. Yeah. He's running for his life. No.
He turns around.
He's like American in the beginning of the first Avengers. Like he can do this shit all day. Yeah. Like he's not giving up. Like, and then you use the meme like I didn't hear no bell. Yeah. turns his little ass back around. And then just launches himself again. Doesn't go very well.
Doesn't go very well.
No.
Same thing happens. Like gets stomped into the side of it. This time he's going up the wall, and then Godzilla just shoots him. Yeah. Like literally point blank blasts him with the atomic breath, and Baragon just explodes.
Dead.
And they show him like react like burning. They show like they cut away from every other thing.
Not this.
And we also missed it at one point. He throws Baragon into a bus station, killing even more people, and there's an explosion associated with that. He also shows. So we talked about the aerial shots in this are shot from a news reporter, a helicopter. Oh, Godzilla throws Baragon into that helicopter and blows them up. Yuri, the main character, is watching all this and even recognizes like, oh, those two people are dead. Yeah. That's not good. Like, no, those two people are dead.
Well, and like, so leading up to this, and like, even when the movie started, like, I'd heard you say several times, like, this Godzilla doesn't give a shit. And I think, like, during this fight, like, it clicked. Yeah, he doesn't give a shit, dude.
And after that fight, this is when we kind of start to get the waking up of the other Guardians. We've kind of left out there is like this old professor guy who's kind of showing up where Yuri's showing up, or Yuri is showing up where he's at, and he's acting as both the warning of the incoming doom of Godzilla and the education of the Guardians to battle them. I think that's where she gets am I right? She gets the book from him? Or she learns about the book from him? She learns about stuff from this guy.
Well, I think her dad gave her the book.
Okay, well,
I think.
That's something I probably missed, which is my bad on my part. But this is where you get the reveal of the Ghidorah, the Ghidorah shrine. Which, do you want to talk about that at all?
Oh, dude.
It's a very weird scene.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Where the guy,
looks like a stockbroker or something.
Looks like a businessman is sneaking off to try to.
He rips his tie off and flings it over a branch, which I don't think that branch was going to hold him anyway.
Yeah, I don't think the branch was going to hold him.
That was really.
Long story short, he was choosing a long-term solution for a short-term problem that people should seek therapy instead of for.
Exactly.
Not to laugh about. This is just very uncomfortable because he's trying to kill himself.
Yeah. But
he falls and finds Ghidorah instead, which is, we never see him again though. But
he just falls down a hole, rolls in there, and screams monster, and that's it.
He's like, all right, I'm good. Now back to the plot. So somewhere in here we do also get a really cool scene of them trying to kill Godzilla with jets. They deploy F-15s, and then the F-15s do not return home because they very quickly dispatch. And kind of one of the more like deliberate Godzilla killing jet scenes, like especially the last couple, like anytime jets have attacked Godzilla, he's like just run after him and not actually done anything. Like in 2000, you get the awesome shot, but he doesn't really do anything to the jets. This one, he kills them. He there's a really cool I've never seen them have him adjust the atomic breath mid-blast.
Yeah, no, it's a great shot of it pulls way back and he's way off in the foreground of the shot and or background, whatever the fuck, and then just shoots one and then the other one and then the other one and then the other two, and all the guys at the tent station, whatever they're watching, they're all just oh fuck.
Oh, yep. We're fucked.
Yeah, and he just keeps on marching.
Yep. This is where they also find, somewhere in here, they find the Mothra cocoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, out in the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, cocoon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cocoon. Cocoon, and then the old guy that we're talking about then goes to the Shrine of Ghidorah to awaken. They keep calling him the 1,000-year dragon.
Mm-hmm.
At one point they imply that he has 8 heads, and then they never elaborate on where they got 8 heads from.
Yeah. Well, they said some shit about they're supposed to be asleep for 10,000 years, these guardians, but it's only been 2,000, I think, so that they still had all this time to regrow, recuperate, you know. So maybe he just didn't get all of his heads back. I don't know. But it's weird. Yeah,
weird. Just kind of weird line. It doesn't matter. They wake up.
Yeah, they wake up,
and eventually they meet as Tachibana, the Yuri's father. Is he a general?
Commander
Tachibana sets up the defense in Yokohama. I am reading the plot from Wikipedia. Leave me alone.
A quick note, though, Tachibana, that's the name of the mechanic in -1.
Related? I don't think so.
Could just be
callback name.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Which
Tachibana or Tachibana?
Tachibana.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I think both would be accepted if I'm being honest. I could be wrong.
Fair.
And the director for -1, name escapes me for some reason right now, but he has said this is one of the movies that he looked to for inspiration when he was making -1.
I can see it.
I also want to say, and we'll kind of get into this a little bit more once we get into the final fight here. I think this movie, I think King of the Monsters, the 2019 one, I think takes a lot from this movie. Because correct me if I'm wrong, I don't remember a Godzilla movie beforehand that treated these creatures gave these creatures mythology. the way this one does, of like, yeah, the 10,000 Earth Guardians and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Of like, which King of the Monsters very heavily delves into.
Oh yeah. I mean, they had like the Godzillasaurus, you know, and then like the High Slayer and that kind of stuff. But this does have like a very urban legend type mythology.
Right, and that's specifically what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Of King of the Monsters is like, here's the cave drawings and stuff like that. Because I think the only time in the series so far that they've really like done something like that is with specifically King Caesar and the original Mechagodzilla. Is it? Yeah. Where they're like, oh, he's asleep in a mountain, and you need to wake him up with a sword.
Is it the original one, or is it Terror? I don't know.
Terror has the weird like fish-looking guy.
Oh yeah, the weird fish dude. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Anyways,
it's been a minute.
We've watched a lot of Godzilla movies, 31 of them so far.
In a pretty short time period.
In about a year.
Well, yeah.
But still. Where the fuck am I? Take over for a little bit here.
We're marching to Tokyo. Yeah, so everyone's doing, the people are doing the normal people thing, like the reporter's doing, like, she's got to get a story, but the military's like, what do? We got to kill Godzilla, we got to defend Japan.
Yes.
That old chestnut that they do in every Godzilla movie. Godzilla's on the warpath. He's headed towards Tokyo. He's already blasted one Guardian, Baragon. He's eviscerated. And then Godzilla shows up in Tokyo. Mothra shows up in Tokyo. And we're pretty much rolling at that point.
Yes.
So like this fight it's pretty chunky, pretty good
chunky.
fight.
And I would say, in terms of Godzilla versus Mothra, one of the better.
Oh yeah,
Mothra
absolutely.
fights.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like this is where they start to kind of get into the little mixed media of like, you start out with the typical like Mothra with the static wings like diving right at Godzilla.
Yeah.
But then you start to get a little bit more of the CGI like.
Yeah.
I guess dogfighting-esque.
Yeah,
action.
and it works very well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, because there's a couple shots of, like, you know, Mothra kind of strafes at Godzilla and then takes off and flies way around the city, and you can see Godzilla, like, you know, off in the background of the shot or whatever, and then, like, Mothra uses, like, this, I don't know if you call it a stinger attack or whatever, but, like,
she stinger.
Moves her abdomen and, like, launches a bunch of little
stingers. Yeah.
I guess little stingers,
Yeah.
And so that was pretty unique. I don't think we'd seen that thus far outside of like King of the Monsters.
That's another thing where I think King of the Monsters took from but was like it influenced.
Yeah,
this. And so and then you did get to see a lot of the like when Mothra would fly past something, like the glass would kind of like taken from Rodan a little bit of like the glass would shatter and stuff like that. There's a really cool for a lot of this scene there. It's like specifically tracking with like two different groups of soldiers who are like literally just looking back and forth between the Mothra and Godzilla, being like, "There's nothing we can fucking do right now."
Yeah.
And then they just like Mothra is trying to get away from Godzilla's atomic breath and leaves the atomic breath into the group of soldiers in the skyscraper.
Yeah, like flies up the building and yeah.
And that's where I had to be like, why? You're like, oh damn, Mothra, and I'm like, they're protecting Earth, not the people. They did say that. Yeah. I actually do want to give a shout out to one of the human moments right before this fight starts. Of like, I think it was Commander Tachibana mentioned, he was like, oh, this is gonna be my first time actually going into a fight, like going into combat, and like they're like, we're not excited about it.
I totally missed that.
You totally missed that? It was a really cool scene. It very much reminded me of -1 of like feeling like, oh, this is gonna suck. This is not gonna be a fun time.
Yeah.
Because like they were talking about how like, oh, this is really like Tokyo is so quiet right now. It's about to be reduced to rubble.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a very like I thought for like this movie can get pretty silly and pretty, I would say, like,
it has some comedic moments
and like kind of outlandish reactions, but we'll then have those kind of quiet, sincere moments.
Yeah, no,
it worked really well.
It blended everything very well together. There wasn't too much of one over the other.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a very fun mix of like funny, goofy, over the top, but also serious and dreadful, at the same time. So.
But about halfway, as they're fighting Mothra, or as Godzilla and Mothra are fighting, which there is one moment I expressed to you, Wyatt, that this Godzilla also is a fucking idiot. Because Mothra, in the rush, Mothra, somehow disappeared and then showed up behind Godzilla, and he, got the drop on him. That does not happen again because...
No, it happens one time.
Yeah, it happens one time because Ghidorah shows up.
Yeah.
And at first, we thought one of the cooler looking Ghidorahs, because if you look at the close shots of it, it's these really really cool shiny gold scales, and he almost looks like a statue close up in a really cool I don't know, just a monument come to life kind of way.
Yeah.
But then if you look if any far shot, he's smaller than Godzilla.
He's rough looking.
He looks deformed.
He does. He really does. His necks are really stubby and short.
Yeah.
He's got big feet, and everything else is short and stubby and compact.
Yes. But the fight's still fucking awesome.
Oh, the fight's great.
So it starts off kind of their usual fights of Ghidorah biting and
shocking.
Biting and shocking Godzilla, and then Godzilla just biting him back.
Yeah.
And them going back and forth, and this is where you get the second moment of Mothra trying to sneak up on Godzilla.
Dude.
And what does he do?
Dude, he tries to sneak up behind Godzilla and he's gonna grab him, or she's gonna grab him or whatever. And then Godzilla just is biting the shit out of Ghidorah, blood dripping off of Ghidorah. Mothra's creeping in, and then Godzilla's tail just fucking whacks Mothra out of the sky.
Yes, and she spirals through several buildings and stuff like that.
They use the tail so much in this movie, and it's great. They use it so good. It's so well.
Yes, probably so far movies we've covered.
Oh, it's the
best usage of tail.
Yeah. But Godzilla doesn't even seem like he's
he's not having a problem.
No, he's working both of these guys at the same time, which with any other iteration of Godzilla, as they presented a challenge for him, so
yeah,
this Godzilla is something else, dude.
It's that's the only way to describe it. Of just
he is cracked the fuck out.
Yes, this is Godzilla fighting in his prime right now. Of really having no problem. He gets to the point where Ghidorah is out. Ghidorah's on the ground crumpled.
He got blasted. Real quick.
Yes, got blasted real quick, and Mothra does the sacrifice play.
Yeah, she does the whole Mr. President or get down, Mr. President, whatever the fucking meme is. I ruined it. But
I get what you're saying. She takes an atomic breath bullet
for
Ghidorah, and then gets taken out, and then but Godzilla still keeps fucking up Ghidorah.
Yeah.
And is
kills Ghidorah.
Pretty much, kills Ghidorah, and so then Mothra, for a third time...
This is the first time that she revives. Are you talking about revives?
No.
Oh, okay.
For a third time, tries to sneak up.
Oh.
she tried for a third time, tries to sneak up on Godzilla from behind, and then Godzilla, on a dime, turns around and another atomic breath, point blank, and obliterates her. To then where her, dying throws dust that she expounds falls into Ghidorah. We get a really cool Ghidorah power up scene.
Yeah.
Of him glowing red, kind of going Super Saiyan. That amounts to what, Wyatt?
Which that
yeah, you go.
Ghidorah's he's dead.
Yeah.
But that was a cool shot alone because it was this gold shadow, not shadow, but ghostly figure of Ghidorah, but the proportions were right. His wings were big, his necks were normal Ghidorah neck size or whatever, and then it's just the shrunk down weird Ghidorah again when it comes back.
It is, but results in one of the coolest fucking moments because Godzilla, without hesitation, shoots him with the atomic breath, and King Ghidorah absorbs this and just like sends it back to him like pretty much like a Kamehameha.
Yeah.
And one of the like most over the like top explosions in the movie so far. Like Godzilla gets blown out of Yokohama or Tokyo into the bay, and then just the rest of Tokyo explodes.
Yeah, there's just like fire, it just takes over the whole.
Yeah, it's fairly egregious, but it's fucking awesome.
It's so cool. It's so cool.
Yes.
And we even commented on it, like while the scene was happening, that like that was fucking cool.
That was awesome. And then Ghidorah Ghidorah follows him into the ocean. Yeah. Which is a big mistake. And then at some point it gets exploded, right?
Yeah, like he tries to, shoot Godzilla with his lightning bolts breath, however you want to phrase it. Mm-hmm. And then like that happens 2 or 3 times, and you see like Godzilla's fins, like his spines were like lighting up with like the gold from Ghidorah, like his lightning, and it just kind of faded away the first couple times. But then Godzilla shoots his breath, but it's like mixed with like the lightning or whatever, launches it back at Ghidorah and kind of blasts Ghidorah's ass. Yeah, so pretty much like reverse of the previous, just talking about in the coolest way possible. And then eventually, so kind of, I guess, trying to wrap up this fight. We forgot to mention they got these drill missiles, right? And they've been trying to. No, I was just going to say that they're weird.
They're weird. But I also thought they were pretty cool. Yeah. They're weird, and they've been trying to drill into Godzilla. It hasn't been working. They theorize that if they can get Godzilla wounded, they can get a drill into there and blow him up. Long story short, that doesn't work.
Surprise.
So then, some point in here, a shrine or a shrine stone falls out of Yuri's pockets. Yuri is somehow, hanging off a bridge. Oh,
that was a cool scene too, because like Ghidorah and Godzilla are fighting underwater, and like Ghidorah's like grappling Godzilla, but he shoots his breath and then like hits the pillar on the bridge, and like the bridge falls over and collapses, and then she's like dangling off the bridge.
Well, and like pretty much this is where like I guess Ghidorah is just trying to do anything he can to hold Godzilla back. Somewhere in here you get Commander Tachibana. What I'm trying to say is you get Commander Tachibana. Somehow he gets his submarine inside of Godzilla. Godzilla, I think, just straight up swallows him. Right?
Yeah. Ghidorah's got blasted again at this point.
Yes. Yeah, at this point Ghidorah is completely taken out.
Yeah.
But this allows the guy to get swallowed by Godzilla, and he has a drill missile, and he's inside of Godzilla, and he drills outside of Godzilla.
Yeah.
Am I missing anything?
I mean, that's a pretty straightforward and quick.
Yeah. And this kind of leads to like not the death of Godzilla, but in a way it does.
There was a really touching scene between like the commander and Yuri, like talking over a radio, because she overhears like they're playing like her dad's gonna go, and it could be sacrificing himself, but it isn't outright saying that's what's gonna happen, but he's gonna go. And they just have this nice heart-to-heart, like, why are you doing this? And he's like, well, I have to lead by example. I'm the commander, but also, like, I have the most experience, so this makes sense for me to do it.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I was really engaged with that moment.
Yeah.
That was cool. They did a good job. The human cast really grew on me, I guess, is what I'm trying to get in a roundabout way to say, so.
Yeah, because they did a really good, like, they started with a lot of people, and there are a lot of people kind of going between all these things, but like the core of it, like the core 2 characters, I think they fairly well stuck the landing on. Yuri and her father.
Well, yeah, I mean, you pretty much described it, like he gets swallowed up or whatever, and then drills his way out.
Yes.
And
well, and you get kind of I like this scene a lot of like Godzilla comes out of the water and then immediately tries to blast Yuri. Like Louis comes face to face with Yuri, and the weird guy. No, he's not weird, but
he's kind of weird.
He's kind of weird. Guy with glasses. So that's what makes him weird. And he like So Godzilla tries to shoot his atomic breath, and it goes out of the neck hole. Multiple times.
He's got a leak.
Yeah, and then I guess somehow this leads to him like going back into the ocean, and keeps trying to shoot it, and it, like pretty much kind of in death throes. And at this point, he just kind of like disappears.
Yeah, I don't know if he just blew himself up or if he. They didn't quite explain what happened, but they just keep saying like he's gone from the radar.
Yeah, like he just kind of which they imply that's also what happened back in 1954.
That's true.
Yeah, like he just kind of went away, and they're like, yeah, it's a whole classified thing.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the end of Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, giant all-out monster attack.
Almost.
Yeah. Oh.
There was the quick the commander and his daughter they have
salute each other.
Yeah, they salute each other. Have not an embrace because he's like, whoa, hey, radiation. But then they salute the Guardians out in the ocean or whatever, and then that's pretty much it with them. The people in the office are all happy. They're going to make a special. Everyone's happy she's alive.
Yes.
Which, gotta say, she's got some balls, because this Godzilla is terrifying, and she just followed him on a bicycle with a camcorder and tracked him all night. But anyway, yeah.
Also, but in that, she was broadcasting from a camcorder in 2001.
Yeah.
And I think this was a webcast, because they were like,
yeah.
Which, I can't imagine the quality of that is good at all. There's no way she got any good footage of that, especially on a bike of
yeah, at night. But then so the camera kind of follows some wreckage under the ocean or whatever, and some steam or bubbles passes out of the way, and then you see this thing sitting on the ground, and then it starts to move and beat, and the Godzilla the theme hits.
What I've Done by Linkin Park starts playing.
Yes, correct. Godzilla's theme hits, and his heart is just sitting at the bottom of the ocean, beating. Yep. And then after a few beats of that, that's it. The movie's over. But
which is another thing that I feel was taken into -1.
It was, yeah.
So there you go. So that is GMK, all out. Everyone's a monster. We're all attacking.
Yeah, everyone's attacking.
Why? Do you have any final wrap-up thoughts before we get into ranking, or anything else you want to shout out that we didn't get to?
I guess we didn't talk about the suit, the Godzilla suit in particular. I think it's really cool in most shots, but I think there's somewhere it didn't quite land for me. It's not my favorite look for Godzilla, but I really like it as a unique Godzilla look.
Yeah.
I like the empty white eyes that it has. That's very menacing, very cool looking. It really made me think of, and I mentioned this to you while we were watching it, it made me think of those old claymation dinosaur T-Rex models they had in 30s, 40s, 50s movies.
Yeah.
It made me think of that a lot, and I don't know, his proportions were kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I think it's a cool look, and I like it. That's pretty much my only thing that we didn't talk about that I wanted to bring up. So.
Well, and I agree with that, and so that kind of leads into what I would want to shout out or talk about. Is this movie just feels like such its own unique thing compared to other Godzilla movies. We kind of mentioned with 2000 and Megaguirus feeling these kind of feel like a little bit more Showa, or this feels a little bit more almost every Godzilla movie for the most part we've been able to compare to another Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
But this is the only one that I would say is feels like it's this is a new fresh take on Godzilla that still feels different 20 years later.
24.
Almost 20, almost 25 years later.
Yeah.
Still feels really different, same way that -1 did.
It does. It's a very unique feeling movie.
And this, I'm again. I also want to echo my sentiment of when we watched Destroya, of where I was I feel justified, yes, I would prefer my opinion on this movie being so good, right?
Yeah.
I feel the same way about this one.
Yeah. So. I saw this post on Reddit the other day where it was Godzilla is one of those perfect franchises where They have like the really goofy movies that you can just sit down and watch popcorn and hang out with your friends and watch and have a great time. But then they have like the more serious, dreadful movies too, and it's the same character and the same.
Well, and this one just seems somehow to have a foot in both.
It does.
You know, really but it doesn't feel out of place at all.
Yeah, I think this is just a very unique franchise where it can be in both worlds, or one or the other, or mix and how and it works.
But again, when I was is like that's what makes this one.
No, I know.
Yeah. And now with that, we've, as the kids say, glazed upon this movie, I think, quite a bit. Or enough, or however you want to say it. Yeah. It's now time to see how this ranks against every other Godzilla movie in the franchise. What is the ranking currently sitting at?
Okay, so I apologize ahead of time for my reading of this list, as always. But number 30, the bottom of the barrel still, and I predict to remain there for the rest of the series, the 98 Godzilla. Number 29, Godzilla Raids Again. 28, Godzilla's Revenge. 27, Son of Godzilla. 26, The Return of Godzilla. 25, Terror of Mechagodzilla. 24, Godzilla vs. Megalon. 23, Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. 22, Invasion of the Astro Monster. 21, King Kong vs. Godzilla from 1962. Number 20 is Godzilla vs. Kong from 2021. Number 19 is Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. Where the fuck am I at? There we are. Number 18 is Godzilla from 2014. 17, Jesus, I'm sorry. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah from 1991. 16, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. 15, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. 14, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. 13, Destroy All Monsters. 12, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. This list is enormous. 11, Godzilla vs. Gigan. 10, Godzilla vs. Biollante. Number 9 is GXK The New Empire. Number 8 is Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. Number 7 is Godzilla vs. Mothra, The Battle for Earth. Number 6, Godzilla 2000. Number 5, Godzilla from 1954. Number 4, Godzilla vs. Mothra, or Mothra vs. Godzilla from 1962. Number 3 is Godzilla King of the Monsters from 2019. Number 2 is Godzilla vs. Destroya. And number 1 is Godzilla -1.
Alright, so here is where the discussion begins, because I still haven't fully decided. I'm in between two spots that are very close to each other. I want to hear your thoughts first.
Okay. I'm kind of in the same boat, but I think, oh God.
Do you want to hear?
Yeah, you go ahead.
So I'm between it's either going to be for me number 2 or number 3.
Oh shit. Okay.
I'm going to guess it's not that high for you.
No, I'm close. It's close to being there, but so I think I was kind of torn between putting it at number 4 or at number 7.
Wait, what? That's
where I was bouncing between, like where do I want to place it?
So above the original Mothra?
Yeah. Or I was gonna put it above.
I feel like you got a beef with the 90s Mothra.
No, I don't.
Why are you putting this one above it? I know I'm putting it above it too.
Hey, no, wait a second.
You're just putting it like specific. Okay. So I think. Sorry, the recording.
Oh, are we good?
Are we?
Technical difficulties.
Is it still plugged in over there, Wyatt?
Yeah.
Oh, we're good now.
Yeah.
Sorry, microphone problem. Anyways, I think I'm going to settle at 3, above King of the Monsters 2019, right below Destroy All Monsters. Or no,
Destroy It.
Destroy It.
Yeah.
Because, and like even then I'm like, man, that might be a 2A, 2B for me.
Yeah.
Where like they're both number 2 and King of the Monsters is just number 4. Just because like this one is the thing that I would put it above King of the Monsters for is like this one it's got a little bit more of the practical effects, which I
Yeah.
like, which I kind of respect a lot more. Not a lot more, but I respect more. And it just feels more akin to the original Godzilla when it has those practical effects and and it is like I said, the best so far, the best usage of the mixed media of CGI and all that. Like I don't know. I think it's just I'm putting it above King of the Monsters because I think I would especially now that I have it on Blu-ray. I might rewatch this one more. You may be able to convince me below King of the Monsters, above Mothra.
So, I don't know if I would watch this more than King of the Monsters because I really like this because it's unique and it's cool to see Godzilla in the villain role, but I still like seeing Godzilla as like the good guy more.
Okay.
And I really like this movie, but King of the Monsters always gets me like just really hyped and like I don't know if motivated is the right word, but like just excited. You know?
I think so I think what it is it's gonna sound weird. King of the Monsters is a really good like greatest hits album.
Yeah.
Like
no, you're right.
It's gonna sound weird. If Godzilla is the band Queen, if Godzilla is the band Queen, King of the Monsters is the greatest hits compilation we all picked up at the library or a relative gave us at Christmas.
Yeah.
Whereas the movie where GMK is more like sheer heart attack, like the actual album with like the songs but also some weird undercuts that you don't really know, but it's still fucking awesome.
That's a good analogy.
I think you talked me down from 3. I think I agree on 4.
Yeah, I like 4.
I like 4?
Because I would watch this more than the Mothra from 62.
62, yeah, I think I agree.
Yeah. But, yeah, okay, I like 4.
I like 4. Awesome.
We agree.
With that, we agree on one for, it hasn't been too long since we agreed on one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the last one we agreed on was Destroya, so that was only like a month ago.
Yeah, that's just not that long ago.
But now, the rank is now at number 1, we still have Godzilla -1. At number 2, we have Godzilla vs. Destroya. At number 3, we have King of the Monsters from 2019. At number 4, we now have Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monster All-Out Attack.
Yep.
I think it's the first time I got it right in this video. And now at number 5, we have Godzilla vs. Mothra from 1962. Man, that's going to be crazy if that one drops out of the top 5.
I know.
Anyways, after that we have at number 6, dropping out of the top 5, we have the original 1954 Godzilla. That one might be criminal. We might get
it really might be.
At number 7, we have Godzilla 2000. At number 8, we now have Godzilla vs. Mothra Battle for Earth. At number 9, we have Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. At number 10, we now have Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. At number 11, we have Godzilla vs. Biollante. At number 12, we have Godzilla vs. Gigan. At number 13, we have Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. I believe that's the original. At number 14, we have Destroy All Monsters. At number 15, we now have Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster. At number 16, we have Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. At number 18, right? No, at number 17, we have Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. At number 18, we have Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah from 1991. At number 19, we have Godzilla 2014. And at number 20, we now have Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. At number 21, we have Godzilla vs. Kong from 2021. At number 22, we have Godzilla vs. King Kong from 1962. At number 23, we have Invasion of the Astro Monster. At number 24, we have Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. At number 25, we have Godzilla vs. Megalon. At number 26, we have Terror of Mechagodzilla. At number 27, we have The Return of Godzilla. At number 28, we have Son of Godzilla. At number 29, we have Godzilla's Revenge. At number 30, we have Godzilla Raids Again. And at number 31, we have Godzilla 1998.
Yep.
31 movies. Next week is 30. Well, sometime after this is number 32, which I believe that one is going to be Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. one I have history with. I was a kid. I have not seen it since I was a kid. Excited to watch it again.
I've also never seen this one.
You've never seen this one?
Nope.
Stay tuned to figure out what Wyatt thinks about this one.
I have always
Liked the poster. I've seen the poster for it, a lot. Never
The
seen
poster,
the movie.
one of the more iconic ones.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, if I showed it to you, I'm sure you're like, oh, I've seen that one. Well, stay tuned to see that poster and the thumbnail for next week's video. Until then, we got to get back to nerding out about nerding all out attack. I don't know what to say. You say something.
Yeah, what he said. Also, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.